to the Fantasy Footballers Podcast with your hosts, Andy Holloway, Jason Moore, and Mike Wright.
Oh, welcome in. Thursday, June 11th, the Fantasy Footballers Podcast. Welcome in, one and all. We are talking about early value picks, early bust picks on today's show. Just got done with some breakouts on the last episode, some sleepers on the last episode as well, and we're happy to have you with us. I won't bring up golf unless you want me to, Jay.
I don't even know what that is.
There have been
I used to play that game.
Well, see, that's the thing. Mike just shakes his head in just full judgment on all of us that are, because Mike is just above it or below it. I don't know. There's the golf course right back behind you. That's definitely not Arizona right now. Take away the trees
and add fire.
And
desaturate the grass.
Mike,
be dead.
Don't you take aren't you kind of impressed that we would start to get into playing golf while it's the hottest time of the year and we're still doing it? Like, isn't that commitment?
That is, you are showing a true love of the game.
A true love of the game is what Jason has.
Did not experience today. But, we're good.
Most
people, a long time ago.
People are just, every time we talk about it, they're like, what's your score? What's your actual score? I'm not asking, but I mean, like,
right now.
So I did reply to one person. Like, we played at a par 72, 18-hole course. You shot a 95, right?
Yeah, correct. 96, I think.
90. Okay.
95, 96.
Al, what did you shoot?
I was 95. Right?
Oh, that's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I mean, that people wanted to know. They didn't know.
And now they know.
People took guesses at the handicaps and things like that, and we are definitely handicapped on the course.
Yeah,
that is for sure. Early busts and values, NFL news, mailbag show today. I feel like we've been watching, Jason, you in particular today as well, just a lot of quarterback film.
Yeah.
Cam Ward, Caleb Williams, Michael Penix, Drake May.
Trying to just
Jacoby
remember
Brissett.
and actually watch through what happened. And when you're watching the games, especially the way that we watch them, right? We're watching them live on Sunday, and we're watching 8 or 9 games at once. You're taking in all these plays, and then you do the analysis and the analytics and all that. But it's really different when you can watch everything cut up and just watch one player throw all of his passes, one player catch all of his targets. You just watch them over and over and over and over, and then you compare that to another quarterback right afterwards, and you go, "Wow, I didn't remember how freaking bad Michael Penix was," for instance.
Right.
Like I was like,
that was one of your takeaways today.
That was one of my big takeaways.
It wasn't a good one.
Okay, so Tua's the starter after watching that film. I was like, that
not good.
Michael Penix was terrible, just downright disgusting.
Would you say that Cam Ward's film was better than Michael Penix's?
Yes, and it wasn't great.
Cam Ward's was not great.
Correct, but
compared to Michael Penix, it was awesome.
You're correct. Yeah.
Yeah, we watched Caleb yesterday. I know you're watching some Jacoby today. Caleb had a lot of downfield passes.
I was very impressed with Caleb. The more that I've been watching all these players, I'm just, man, I'm like, I think I'm like really in on Caleb this year, both for fantasy and for. I think he's going to take a massive step forward.
I don't know if I saw one of those passes that Caleb underthrew. I think 90% of them, they were like, your adrenaline
he ain't no Tua.
No, his adrenaline was going, and he was overthrowing. But
what a laser!
But the more football film you watch, the more excited I got. For the games.
It's funny. We're going to talk about the bust picks in a little bit, and watching the Caleb film really made me confident in my bust pick today.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I don't know what your bust pick is.
There you go.
So I'll find out with
Andy's
everyone else. Mike is not happy with Mike.
No, the people.
The people
hate it.
The people are pretty fine with it.
Are the people Mike?
No, the people.
Oh, okay. The UDK is out right now, the Ultimate Draft Kit, ultimatedraftkit.com. Go pick it up, and you can get access to the ever-growing, improving, changing, evolving Ultimate Draft Kit through the entire offseason. before you draft in August and get things started in September. Jointhefoot.com is the community. You can follow us on Instagram, instagram.com/fantasyfootballers. Quick question of the day was sent in by Zach in Arkansas. Do you have a different strategy between a home league or a more competitive league? Or a different strategy between the two types?
I'll jump in, and it's ADP. We play a very market-based game during the period of the draft, especially. ADP is everything. You know, the wisdom of the crowd or the ignorance of the crowd as well. When you're in a home league, far more players they're not going to be researched. They're not going to, they're there to have a good time. You're there to win. So you can take advantage of that because those players are going to be looking at the ADP and whatever their draft platform is and not take any risks and not realize, I'm going to get value. When you're in a competitive league, ADP can work against you because you're staring at that. You were just in your home league and you're like, man, I got this player 2 rounds later. I'm going to sit and wait. And then you get sniped because there's other people who they are in the know. They listen to the information, and
it can go according to the script.
It can work against you, and you think you know exactly how the draft is going to go. So you're going to play the game with the ADP, and when you're in the competitive league, it doesn't work like that. You really just have to draft the players that you're wanting to draft, not let the flow of the room disrupt that.
Yeah, and I would say when I'm in a home league, what you just said, you said it for a different reason, but I tend to, like in a home league, it's a little easier. You could take advantage. You can, kind of crush souls, but also just take the guys you want to watch. Like that's when I'm playing in a league that is just far more for fun. I want to enjoy.
Is that just where you get shares of your favorite players?
Exactly right. I'm like, I'm going to take my dude.
Yeah, no, I mean, it makes sense. I don't think, it's certainly different dynamics between both of them. Your home leagues are where you find a lot of those hometown players end up going a lot higher. But, some structural differences there. Let's talk some news.
News and notes from around the league.
Well, these tight ends are tough, right? Tucker Kraft says he anticipates playing in week 1 without a snap count.
Kraft and Kittle, man.
Kraft and Kittle.
Kraft and Kittle.
Kittle and Kraft.
Tough guys.
Yeah, they are.
I mean, Mike brought him up recently, I think maybe on the last episode, just about how you feel like you're going to fall for this trap.
Oh, they're getting me. I'm pretty convinced.
Yeah, you're going to be in on Kraft, and I can't argue that much against it. If he looks good and he's there early, I will adjust. Right now, I still have him a little lower in my rankings due to the fact that he is coming off of the massive surgery and might not be ready for week 1. But his breakout was legit. It really was. Going back and looking at his game log last year, it wasn't just the final. It felt like kind of what we experienced with Travis Hunter, where it was like really one game where he had this massive breakout and then got injured, because it did happen where after a massive game he got injured, but he was having good weeks every single week, and he was a big, important part of their team. And I know you like Christian Watson a lot this year, and part of the reason for that is you buy into the offense. Romeo Doubs is gone. Matthew Golden hasn't proven that he can be that guy yet, so one of those two, Christian Watson or Tucker Kraft, are gonna score a lot of fantasy points.
Well, that'll be fun to watch for training camp time. Speaking of training camp, Alec Pierce's ankle surgery could end up lasting into training camp, so he may not come back till the back half of training camp is the way it sounds right now. Again, I don't think you pay a guy $100+ million if you have any concerns about it.
Oh,
it's also not an ACL or a knee situation. So
long term is fine. It's just short term. Like, is he ready to go week 1?
That's something to watch. I think if he gets back for any training camp, we'll feel a lot better about it. Zach Charbonnet, more injury updates. Seahawks running back got in some light field work with trainers at minicamp camp. Very light. 15 minutes of high knees. But that's good.
Dude, I could knock out 15 minutes of high knees.
You could get some light on-field work done at training camp.
I could knock out 5 minutes of high knees.
5 minutes?
I don't know about 15 minutes.
No?
I don't
Oh,
think
man, you
so.
got
Do you know how long 5 minutes is for high knees?
I could knock out a minute of high knees.
Yes, there you go.
Going back to the Alec Pierce thing, I'm just curious because we had this debate about Alec Pierce recently. I feel like they're going to keep him in the same role. You feel like the opportunity is there because with Michael Pittman gone and Adonai Mitchell, there's a ton of targets that are needing to go somewhere. Do you think this hurts his opportunity, missing the first half of training camp or more?
I'm not there. I'm not there where I'm worried about it yet.
It just feels like if you're going to have him miss the training, it would be easy to be like, well, you're going to do what you did last year. You already know all of it.
I mean, his wide receiver target percentage last year in a bunch of these games was very, very high, and this was with an active Michael Pittman. I still think that you have a situation where this is their dude. I mean, name somebody else that's going to step into his role.
Tyler Warren.
Well, no. He plays tight end.
Josh Downs.
No, he's little.
Okay.
Those
are the two.
If you had another name, like if you told me that there was somebody else that could step into that situation, those guys, if you talk about a role for those guys, they're defined. They're certain. Josh Downs is not moving outside. So I don't have the fear right now. No, I don't. Okay. And the money talks to me. If the ankle starts talking to me later, then we'll have another conversation.
You want to know a name that was uttered by the coach of the Colts recently?
I don't think I want to know it.
I'm only bringing it up because it's
Westbrook Akine?
No, it's insane. Laquan Treadwell.
Yeah. Well, Laquan Treadwell.
I feel so much better about Pierce just by you saying that.
This was not an argument for
anything.
I know. It was simply like,
do you have the quote? Do you have the actual quote?
Let me.
You posted it this morning, and I believe your words with it was, this was a real-life quote.
I'm really proud of Laquan Treadwell's growth and development is essentially what he was talking about.
How many years has he been
Gotta
in the
be
league?
7 years.
Forever.
He's any minute now, guys. I'm really proud of his development. He's
30.
This is a grown man.
Maybe he just meant like his physical development. Like
maybe he meant like as a person off the field.
Yeah, mate. Yeah,
like this is not football, not like route tree.
Maybe he's like donating his time. Yeah. Just a good guy. Who knows?
Well, back to Zach Charbonnet. The expectation is October at best for Zach Charbonnet, which means Jadarian Price is going to have an out of the gate opportunity on the defending champs to get a ton of run. I mean, maybe not all of it. You can say George Holani's going to get work, and sure, but you drafted this is only first-round running back.
If you say George Holani's name 3 times in a row, the Holani Hive will show up.
You and
I'm
friends?
No, I'm just saying, like, they're out there. I'm warning you. They are scary people.
Yeah, let's move on.
They meet in the cover of darkness.
We won't talk too much about that.
I bumped Price up a bit, which is why it will be so hilarious when Holani is the starter.
That's twice.
Do you think the price of Price will increase?
Yes. I mean, most of these rookies will be higher drafted closer to the season than they are right now.
More off-season. Wait, we haven't hit the hype train in a little bit, but let's do it because it's worthy.
I miss our old hype train.
You always have.
I like when we scared people on the road.
Do I have to stop the train? Is that my job?
Hey, you can't stop.
Oh, okay, because it really does go on forever. Bashal Tootin continues to look like one of the most explosive elements of the entire Jacksonville offense.
I mean, with Crod not there, he has the opportunity to just take the H-N role.
If you're drafting at all right now, you should be taking this discount because I don't think his ADP is going to hold.
It feels like Jacksonville is primed to be the maybe hype center of the offseason right now because we've gotten Bashal Tootin. We get the every day. It's Trevor Lawrence and BTJ look so good together.
But yet ADPs are fine. Like
Mike, it's June.
But I'm saying, Tootin could rise. Thank you, Jason. He could rise up dramatically. But the wide receivers, no one has any idea what to do with them. So I think they're going to stay late no matter what.
Well, because they all have equal hype. Travis Hunter will get hype, and Parker Washington will get hype, and but Bashal Tootin continues to look like he wants the lead job. Todd Monken, Browns head coach, that is, not Baltimore's offensive coordinator anymore. Browns head coach Todd Monken said he's unlikely to name a starting quarterback by the conclusion of the minicamp.
Oh, man.
So that'll go into training camp.
The advantage.
Honestly,
I think he really needs to figure
I
this out.
I
Mike.
do. This one isn't. This isn't a
test.
competitive advantage. This is like, dude, I have no idea.
Yes.
I have to. When you have to pick one of these two guys, you're like, give me more time.
Yeah.
I need.
He's actively looking into the outs of his contract. Like, do I wait? Do I have to coach this team?
Which faulty parachute do I jump out of this plane with?
I think he's going from circus to circus looking for Zoltron machines and just like trying to make wishes here. Like, please.
Is that a big reference?
It was.
Nice.
Yeah, hot current reference.
Well, we'll start talking about some players we think
Good luck,
might
Monken.
disappoint in just a minute. Before we jump into our early bust picks on today's show, I do want to say this. You said good luck, Monken, right before the break. And the two coaches I think that look the most in trouble are ironically on the opposite ends of the age spectrum. When I watch Todd Monken try to...
yet, very predictable that them going to those franchises would be like, good luck.
Yeah, I mean, the Cardinals' new head coach, Woody Woodpecker.
Dude.
I see it. I see it.
It's you don't want to just destroy a man because of some aesthetic choices, but
so LaFleur and then Todd Monken, like he's the elder statesman, and those situations are kind of how both would find themselves in a head coaching job.
The Cardinals
right
and the Browns are not serious organizations.
No, they are not.
Well, speaking of busts.
Bus.
I forgot the video was you. You're Humpty Dumpty in that situation?
Well, I am an egg.
And you fell off. Not necessarily.
Because
there are other eggs with different names.
Well, there are other eggs. Also, I believe there's nothing in the nursery rhyme that actually says Humpty Dumpty is an egg. It is
but we all know.
But that's we all are assuming. But has it ever been proven that Humpty Dumpty is?
Sat on a wall.
Yeah.
He had a great fall.
Okay.
All the king's horses, all the king's men that couldn't put Humpty
back together again.
So,
right. So why is he an egg? Many things would break if they took a great fall.
What is he if he's not an egg and his name's Humpty Dumpty?
I mean,
that's not a great name.
No. But
you think there's one person named that
in the
world?
No.
No, because if your last name is in fact Dumpty, you're not going with Humpty.
I want to. If your last name is
John, I'm John Dumpty.
If your last name is Dumpty, please reach out. I want to meet you. Just like
free tickets to our live show.
That's Mr. Dumpty to you.
Dumpty. No one with the last name of Dumpty goes Humpty.
You got to be an egg to be a Dumpty.
All
right.
Kyle's diving in. He's going to do the research for us. Nursery rhymes is where it's at. We are starting with our bus picks, Jason. Let me define this for the listening audience here. Not players that we're saying are guaranteed to fail, but have some things that maybe are working against them or represent high risk, or maybe things look beautiful on the outside. The fantasy finish, so to speak, looks great, and maybe you need to beware and look at the low-end outcomes or, maybe relative to ADP, we don't like them, that type of thing.
Yeah, a lot of times, in the UDK, we'll have a bust section, and they're not always guys we don't believe in. Sometimes it's just like this guy's being overdrafted. You're not going to be happy. For best example of that was last year's Ashton Genty, who was on our bust list, and he finished as the running back 12, but everyone who played knew, that was a bust pick. You took him, halfway through the first round, and he really got off to a hard time. Now, my bust pick on today's episode.
We got There's an update here from Kyle.
Is this Kyle? How certain are you of this?
It doesn't matter. I'm going forward with it.
Okay.
We have he gave us a screenshot of the Dumpty family history.
There is a Dumpty family history
with the name Seymour.
Seymour.
So there was
Seymour
in fact
Dumpty.
Seymour Dumpty.
Come on.
Oh no.
There was also a Hartford Dumpty.
Seymour Dumpty.
That's from Ancestry.com. It says we've only scratched the surface of the Dumpty family history.
You wouldn't even believe how many Dumpties.
Oh my gosh.
That's pronounced with a Dumpty.
So I'm going to be Mrs. Dumpty, is it? Huh. Maybe I'll keep my name.
Yes, yeah, it's a real Julia Gulia. Humpty Dumpty.
This is ridiculous. All right, we have bust picks. Jason, were you volunteering to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first because I alluded to this
Less
earlier.
less is more?
Yeah, and honestly, this is not one of those where I think he's being just slightly overdrafted. Like I won't be drafting this player. Like I do think this will just be a bust and a wasted pick. And where he's going right now, he's going ahead of players that I think are great picks. That is wide receiver, brand new shiny toy for Josh Allen, DJ Moore. DJ Moore has been a great NFL wide receiver. He's been great for fantasy a handful of times. Usually we kept saying, oh, if he could only have a quarterback, he'd be great. Unfortunately, he didn't have a quarterback. And so he was always like a wide receiver too. Very, very solid. I mean, you look back at his wide receiver 18, wide receiver 22, 19, 22, wide receiver 6. That was his big year in Chicago. And then wide receiver 17 last year fell down to wide receiver 33. And the thing is I think he has lost a lot of what made him special. I just talked about when I watched the Caleb Williams tape, it made me more confident in this bust pick because I would watch Luther Burden look awesome, Rome look awesome, Mr. Love, man.
Always looks awesome.
He looked great.
Oh, and he's hungry.
And then every target
For love.
to DJ Moore was like, oh man, who is that? Oh, that's number 2. Ugh. It just didn't look good. And some of the stats really, really bear that out. I know that Joe said, why can't I think? Joe Brady. Yes, thank you. Joe Brady talked about how
Joe Dumpty.
he felt like he didn't see any drop off in the film when he was looking to acquire.
Yeah, last year's film. He hasn't seen any drop off.
Yeah, they were together 5 years ago. So Joe Brady, back in the day in Carolina, is used to a certain DJ Moore that I don't think he is anymore. Career low in receptions, career low in receiving yards, career low in yards per route run, career low in forced missed tackles. This was like DJ Moore was a yak master. Get the ball in his hands and watch him break tackles. He broke 4 tackles last year. Against man, he used to dominate. This year, man targets per route run 16%. That's bad. Yards per route run against man, less than a yard, 0.7. Yeah, that is like that's dog doo-doo. He's not the same guy. And then you look at we've seen this, like Amari Cooper. Good, maybe past his prime, goes to the Bills, and you get excited because it's like Josh Allen needs his Stephon Diggs that he had of old, where it's like, oh, he's going to be a top 10 wide receiver for fantasy. But that's not the way this team runs anymore. You look at in 2024, Josh Allen became the first top 5 fantasy quarterback to not have a top 36 wide receiver. And then in 2025, he did it again. It's like that's just who they are. He spreads the ball around. They're not going to target an alpha 1, and DJ Moore is not an alpha 1. Right now, he is being drafted ahead of Mike Evans. We'll talk about him in a minute. Carnell Tate, top 10 first-round wide receiver rookie. I would love that. Christian Watson, we're big fans of him. Roma Dunze, I'm in on that. Jordan Tyson, I want all of those guys more than DJ Moore. DJ Moore's being drafted right on that wide receiver 2-3 bubble. And I mean, first of all, even when DJ Moore's had big games or big seasons, it's come inconsistently. He's not a high volume, every game target earner. So I just think at 29 years old, year 9 changing teams is not going to work.
The name is carrying a lot of weight with it that the performance probably won't.
And I love that.
Out.
I love that. I hope his ADP doesn't drop. I love seeing him where he is because I know someone's going to make that mistake, and it won't be me. And I'll eat the words if he has a resurgence in year 9 changing teams. But
your namesake too.
Here's the other.
That's a little bit.
That's
tough.
sad. Here's the other year 9 wide receivers changing teams. Randall Cobb sucked. Marvin Jones sucked. Allen Robinson sucked. Odell Beckham sucked. Nelson Aguilar sucked. Tyler Boyd sucked. And Cooper Kupp sucked. And then there was one good example who was a potential Hall of Famer in Devontae Adams when he went to the Raiders to play with his best friend at quarterback.
Do we get ourselves in lots of trouble in fantasy? This is a things to remember thing of the projecting the next blank.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh,
I mean, it feels like that
Yes.
works out almost never. I mean, the next Tyreek Hill in Kansas City, we went through 15 different players.
Well, and it happens with coaches too. Like a coach comes over, and so it's like, oh, who's going to be in that role? It's like, well, that's not how it works. Remember how I believe it was just talked about with the Cardinals. Michael Wilson is in the Puka role.
Right. Well, that's
Puka's role. Like,
Jason,
you got to be
remains
Puka.
to be the Los Angeles Rams have to deal with the Arizona Cardinals.
Remember the next Wes Welker for 40 years?
Mm-hmm.
Oh man.
Is he on the Patriots?
Oh.
Is he white?
Oh man. Hey, we got it. We got Edelman.
I was going to say that one actually did happen.
we got it worked out
That
a little
took
bit.
a while though. Danny Amendola was in there.
How long after
Waiting for the
was
next Gronk.
Edelman?
Yeah, the next Gronk.
Oh man.
Absolutely. We did that. I remember some. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I know. There's.
What was the long?
I didn't want to reference him.
I
'cause
know. I
couldn't
won't
think of
remember
the
it.
name.
The
Kyle,
long-haired
save us.
Kobe
off-season-
No, he was a
This-
Patriot.
This was a Patriot preseason hero that flashed for 5 seconds.
We just talked about this guy.
Yeah, we'll find it. Mike, I'm going to let you go next since you're going to mix a running back into the
All
bust
right.
picks.
I'm gonna go with a player who it will not surprise people to hear this name. A player who is being drafted as the starter, as the RB1 from their team, and I don't think that he is. I think that he is the auxiliary, maybe the third down guy. It is R.J. Harvey of the Denver Broncos, who the best ball drafters have a better idea as he's going as RB31, and he's RB21 right now in Sleeper. I'll start with the good. He's one of 9 rookie running backs since 2010 to score 12 or more touchdowns. That sounds great. The problem is he did it on 193 total touches, and I mean, as a problem, like that's a level of efficiency that just cannot be replicated. There was excitement for R.J. Harvey. It was a surprise second-round pick. Running backs being drafted in the second round, that's generally a good strategy for us to go after. And yet the team's beat reporters were like, nope, it's going to be J.K. Dobbins. I'm trying to tell you, it's going to be J.K. Dobbins as the starter. And then week 1 hits, and there it is. J.K. Dobbins is the guy. Before Dobbins was hurt, I mean, Harvey was just not seeing opportunities. He was at 8.5. And then weeks 13 through 17, he got to be the guy. The opportunities went up, the scoring went up, and yet he was unbelievably inefficient as a runner. We had 55 qualified running backs with 80 or more rush attempts. He was 51st in runs stuffed at the line, in percentage of runs stuffed at the line. 52nd in runs of 10 or more yards. The explosive, the super fast electric R.J. Harvey couldn't rip off runs of 10 or more yards. 49th in success rate. 48th in yards after contact per attempt. I don't see a world where R.J. Harvey returns anything close to his ADP unless the running back room for Denver gets completely depleted again. You want to bet on a Dobbins injury?
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. And, like RJ or Dobbins, he gets hurt all the time, but when he is on the field, Dobbins is awesome. Like he plain delivers for every single team that he has ever played for. He just does get hurt a lot. But Harvey right now is being drafted like he's going to, like the takeover has happened, and I don't understand it. He's going around players who have a much better odds of actually making an impact on your team, and drafting Harvey where he's going in your home leagues. I think it is a complete waste of a pick, and you're going to be sitting around waiting for when you can finally plug him into a starting lineup.
Well, when you pick him, you need to play him at his ADP. So
and
that's a
can't.
huge problem. If you suddenly lose that confidence, which look, there are all, Jonah Coleman, who we like, who we believe is a good runner, should have some
and
opportunities.
a great pass catcher.
And Peyton's history is to give other guys that we don't even know much about opportunities. Tyler Bidet.
I was going to say your name can
McLaughlin.
be Bidet and you can get the ball.
Yeah. Now, I like pushing back when I disagree. I agree with both of your picks, like wholeheartedly. My pick will not be agreed upon by Mike.
No.
At all. But I think this is a player that is an absolute fantasy football mirage for your team. And I say that with all due respect, but
I don't hear any respect.
But my
He said with all due respect.
I said all
that
due.
doesn't mean you get to say whatever you want afterwards.
It's Zay Flowers. It's Zay Flowers, and the people are booing, I guess.
The people hate it.
Now here's the truth about Zay Flowers that I think is very difficult for some to swallow, to deal with. I think it's obvious by his ADP that people know that what happened last year by fantasy finish number is not like indicative of what he actually represented for your team. Because last year he had a wide receiver 7 finish. Now that was 12.1 fantasy points per game. But his ADP this year is 21 on Sleeper, 15 on Underdog. There's nothing wrong with Zay Flowers, the player, but I think in fantasy, we've seen 3 years of Zay Flowers, and last year to finish at 7. When I look at the game log, I'm mesmerized by the fact that math works out. I really am. He had career highs. I'm going to give him. Here's just Flowers for Flowers. 118 targets, 86 receptions, 1,200 yards. That's great. Those are all awesome numbers. Week 1, monster performance. How many fantasy points do you have? 27, something like that?
24.6 and half PPR.
Number 1 overall wide receiver in the first week of the season. For the next 12 weeks. So 71% of the fantasy season. So like almost, a huge majority. He averaged 8 fantasy points per game as a wide receiver, 41. His next highest finish in the next 12 weeks was 21 overall. He wasn't a top 24 receiver for the other 11 weeks. So the math ends up somehow he's wide receiver 7 because he bookended the years with number 1 overall finishes. So week 18, when it didn't matter for fantasy, number 1. Week 1, huge impression for your team. I got a guy. Number 1. And then he had a great fantasy playoffs. I'll give him that. 8, 18, and 11. But when you put the context together, it's just it's a really tough situation for me to buy into the draft price for Zay Flowers. I can't see a world where I'm taking him over Devontae Smith, Emeka Egbuka, Terry McLaurin, Cam Scatteraboo, Bashaw Tutin, who you love, Jameson Williams. Like maybe you can have that debate if you want. I think that's fair.
Yeah,
to say,
that one is
I want a little safer dude, or I want a little more explosive, or
more volatility, higher upside is on the Jameson Williams. The more regular, safe approach player would be Zay Flowers. I have Zay Flowers ranked around where his ADP is, so
which
I'm
is
not
21.
Yeah, and I'm not.
I think I'm at 24.
OUT on Zay Flowers, but I am closer on Andy's side than the people's. Because we know who he is, and we're not saying he's a bad wide receiver. He's just, for fantasy, he doesn't have that, like, he's going to score 5 touchdowns, and that's kind of how, when they get around the goal line, he's not a goal line threat. He's just not, and he shouldn't be. They've got Mark Andrews, they've got Derrick Henry, they've got Lamar Jackson. That's not, they should be putting their best foot forward, and it's not Zay Flowers there. So then you just have a low. I know he finished wide receiver 7, but like you're saying, Andy, the process.
Well, look,
didn't help.
I have really good numbers for this, because if you look at every top 10 wide receiver since 2019, and you look at their fantasy finish and their consistency rank, and you compare them, because we give you those consistency scores. So he finished at 7. His consistency was 16. That's a delta of 9. So he was minus 9.
He's a B.
That was minus 9. We looked at all the players that had a similar delta, right? Anything where their consistency was not with their fantasy finish. 69% of those finished outside the top 15 the next year. 50% were wide receiver 24 or worse. It's not a good sign if your consistency rank and your fantasy finish are that far apart. I just feel like Baltimore as a team, and maybe with the new head coach and a new offensive ideology, at least the potential for change is there. But they spent what? Surratt
they
and
added
Jacoby
2 wide
Lane?
receivers. Yep.
So they drafted 2 wide receivers, and every single time I've ever watched Baltimore, I've never said to myself, they need Zay Flowers to win this game. They may use him in this game to win, in that game to win. I don't go into the game saying, like, I'd say that about Derrick Henry. I'd say that about Lamar Jackson running the football. I might even say that about Mark Andrews for about 5 years. But I've never been in those games where I'm like, man, Zay Flowers is taking this one over. And that's where the disrespect that Mike hears comes in.
Yes.
Where I think he's a really good player, But I think the fantasy community already knows this, or he wouldn't be a 5th-round pick. You don't draft a wide receiver 7 in the 5th round unless you already don't believe that finish, which you've never defended that finish.
No.
You've never
Never.
come out
No,
and
no.
been like, this is the 7th best wide receiver in fantasy.
No.
But to me, relative to the draft spot, I've got him. So he's being drafted on underdog at 15. Mike's got him at 16. Jason at 17. I'm at 24. So it is a bust for me. It was one of those players that stood out where my fantasy finish was quite a bit further than you guys. He's 21, 5th-round pick on Sleeper. So I'm not too far off of that. But when I have to draft him, I feel like I'm going to have to say this is an every week wide receiver 2, and I don't think I can get there.
He was, he's hitting 10 points or more a lot of the time.
Yes.
Like I said, be in consistency. So maybe you guys don't see the ceiling case for Zay Flowers with Declan Doyle coming in, and this, I think that's a huge deal. Actually, is like if you told me, okay, it's
we loved Monken.
Yeah, but this what I'm saying is, if it were the same old for the Baltimore Ravens, I would be looking at Zay Flowers in this ADP and being like, nah, I don't see how it changes. And I agree the identity of the team will still be Lamar and Henry. This is going to, like, the AFC North, this is going to be a team that has to run. Yeah, no, we have news.
Do you want me to hit it?
No, just hold on.
Oh, you got more stuff to say?
Yeah, and so I'm saying with the new head coach coming in and how good I think Zay Flowers actually is as a wide receiver, I do see a world where he spikes into he gets up to 8 touchdowns, maybe even 9.
He had 1 red zone touchdown last year.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying. It is, but
That's
this is
just he's not built for it.
It's a completely different offense that will be happening, and it's. I mean,
do you see the possibility of Jacoby Lane and Sirach competing
for the wide receiver 3 spot? Yeah,
but I mean, like being more part of the offense.
I do not, at least especially with what I'm reading so far. I mean, it's Bateman still locked in as the 2, and.
Bateman and Treadwell they're just gonna be there forever.
Well, but Bateman just keeps cashing huge checks though, and like the team, he is the number 1 target when it comes to passing offense. The passing offense of the Baltimore Ravens wasn't actually that good last year. If you remember, Lamar Jackson did not have his finest year, missed a bunch of games, and so for Flowers to do what he did last year just speaks to me of this is a good player who has gone from 24 to 25 to 29% of the targets. I mean, you push 29, 30% again, and you just get a little bit of touchdown luck, he can easily squeak in and repeat a top 10 performance. I don't have him statted there nor projected there, but but betting on talent, Zay Flowers is locked in there.
Breaking news.
We have a thank you. We have a new deal for Patrick Mahomes. Is that what just broke?
That is what is breaking.
The total value of the deal.
Very expensive.
So the new money.
Hey, they were riding cheap with Mahomes for a while.
The new money on the deal is worth $239 million. The total value of the deal is $504.75 million from 2026 to 2033. There'll be more updates like this over the course of that time as well.
$500 million.
It's all guaranteed. $504 million guaranteed.
No.
It becomes guaranteed through contract mechanisms, according to Adam Schefter.
Says the first 4 years are being guaranteed at signing.
Right, but it says all 504 becomes guaranteed through contract mechanisms.
Okay. So it'll be like
he can earn up to 522, and boy, he must really want that. You got to, whenever I'm making 504, I'm like, how can I get to 522?
You want to motivate a man.
The deal averages $64 million per year.
Okay. Kansas City.
Cardinals are going to have to pay Jacoby now.
Do you think that
they should have got that deal done.
They got a $3 million deal for Jacoby Brissett, and they just shelled out $522 million.
Did we cause this to happen, talking about how McAfee was going to make more than Mahomes on last episode? Because he was asking for $60 million a year.
They probably did.
Another like
they probably
McAfee's not. No way.
Did you hear
64 a year.
Did you hear those fantasy nerds talking about that money?
Yeah.
Wow! Congratulations,
so Kansas City.
Patrick.
Kansas City. Unleash the offense. Figure it out.
Mahomes has the least deep touchdowns in the league. The last
couple years.
4
yeah.
years.
Like
It's all right. Bieniemy's back.
the thing about the Chiefs, the high flying,
Sign Tyreek.
like when
You should.
They really should.
when the Chiefs were destroying everybody and just going to Super Bowl after Super Bowl until it trailed off, but the offense was so fun to watch. We didn't hate the Chiefs. Like we didn't hate. I at least the way I remember it is like we hadn't turned. We wanted to
Because
watch
they didn't have
Chiefs.
the titles yet either.
Well, but even
You
when
turn when you win a bunch,
even when
too.
he had a couple, I feel like it was like, oh no, I still like the Chiefs because they're very fun to watch. This is a great product. And then it just became so boring the last couple years. Still succeeding. That's when
They're missing.
That's when we turned.
I mean, I hope Ken Walker can be a part of this.
Oh, please.
Because they're missing, like, it was Kareem Hunt and it was Tyreek Hill and it was prime Kelsey. Now you have old Kelsey, you had Pacheco, and you've got Rice missing games, and you got to throw the ball to Justin Watson. That's not fun. There's a reason why he has 8 touchdown passes of over 30 yards or whatever it was in the last handful of years, the least in the league. They don't have the personnel. And then they spent the whole draft on defense. I would not be shocked
Figure it out.
if they're still, in his fantasy value, Patrick Mahomes came from running the football, and now he's coming off an ACL injury.
Yeah.
And
So,
his
yes,
number
I'm
one-
with you. I want
and
him
his
to
number one wide receiver is also coming off of a knee surgery and currently in jail. Like currently
Rehabbing
right
it in
now
jail.
in jail.
It's so brutal.
Yeah, I just saw he won the opportunity to be in his own cell to rehab the knee after some of the days.
Oh, that's so good.
Congratulations, Rashi.
No contract extension announced for Rashi, surprisingly enough.
No, any minute. Just
We'll take a break.
Keep refreshing your email.
We'll come right back.
Values.
Are you really you really doubling up?
I really am.
Well, I guess get it out of the way, Mike.
Because it needs to be said. So you know how I don't like R.J. Harvey?
Yes.
I like J.K. Dobbins, who is just where he is in the draft is what it can do to the build of your team is unbelievable. He's going in the mid-30s, both in best ball and on sleeper currently. It was all this chatter. What are the Denver Broncos going to do at the running back position? They're going to do something. They're in on the big names.
They were trying to get Breeze.
They wanted Breece Hall. They wanted Kenbone Walker. They wanted Rumbalaya. They wanted to make a move. They weren't able to do it, and so they end up bringing J.K. Dobbins back. It's a 2-year deal. It's worth up to $16 million. It's $8 million guaranteed, which it's not nothing. And the fact that he was so successful as the starter versus what R.J. Harvey gave you. I mean, this is the same team, guys. The same offensive line. J.K. Dobbins was running for over 5 a carry. R.J. Harvey's at 3.7. Runs going for more than 5 yards, like a good chunk run. 41% of Dobbins carries, 29% of R.J. Harvey's. 10-yard runs, almost 14% for J.K. Dobbins. Went down at 5.5% for R.J. Harvey. It's just he is such a better runner than R.J. Harvey, and he's going in the ninth round. He affords you to be. You take your elite tight end. Take a freaking quarterback with the tight end. I don't care because you can get a running back too in the 9th round.
Do you think that Jonah Coleman could make this a 3-way timeshare, which would really make all three?
They didn't make Dobbins a priority. That would be one of my counter arguments, was that Dobbins sat out there and they were kind of canoodling with some other free agents at the running back position.
Yeah.
And then they settled on returning, they got one in the draft and they bring Dobbins back. They have Harvey. I think that's my biggest concern. Now, I don't think, if what you're saying is right and Dobbins is showing that in training camp, this ADP won't stay. But it won't go up to a point where it's unaffordable.
He'll maybe go. So in our mock draft, Jason took him in the 7th. The 7th round, you got Kyle Monangai. He's an interesting player, but he's definitely not the starter. You have, Rico it's just weird with him and Jaylen Warren. Blake Corum And then there's J.K. Dobbins.
I don't know if the team, like last year, he was kind of a revelation, right? Where you expected maybe the rookie gets an impact. He comes out and gets it done. And I don't disagree on the value or anything. I'm just more so talking philosophically about J.K. Dobbins. If I'm that team and I like Harvey's gotten his reps and I go out and I get Jonah Coleman, I don't see a world where J.K. Dobbins is getting more work than he got last year by any stretch of the imagination because he got hurt doing it, right? Like that was part of it is J.K. Dobbins injury prone, gets hurt with too much work. That's where my hesitation would come. But right now it's like a free player.
I feel like it's a free player and it's a free starter who was, before the injury game, his consistency was a B. He was putting up, he was at 11 fantasy points a week on average.
The team's going to win a lot of games, and they're going to be winning a lot of games with their defense.
Yes, so elite defense.
So giving the ball to a veteran running back makes sense.
Who actually has success on the ground as opposed to R.J. Harvey.
Jason, your value pick.
My value pick, I've been talking him up this whole offseason. I know, Andy, you disagree with me on this one, which is fine. But I think Mike Evans is a great value. I believe he's going to be very good this year. He is old. He's changing teams. He's 32.8 years old. He'll be 33.
Those are some of those things you're always looking for.
Yeah, I mean, no, I mean, I'm bringing those up because that's usually something I avoid.
That was your DJ Moore argument.
Well, that was year 9. And also in that argument.
Mike Evans. That was year 9.
Yeah.
Mike Evans is way past year 9.
Yeah, but also the one guy who stood out on that list who was great when he changed teams, he was the wide receiver 3, was Devontae Adams because he's like a Hall of Fame level caliber wide receiver. That's what Mike Evans is. He's a Hall of Fame, second ballot Hall of Fame wide receiver in the future. And this is a team that is projected to score a ton of points. Like right now, they're, I think, like the fourth highest in projected points. Who's going to score the touchdowns? Obviously, Christian McCaffrey's going to get his. We don't know about the health of George Kittle. Mike Evans is going to be a touchdown machine. Brock Purdy throws touchdowns. They lost Juwan Jennings. Every report from San Francisco right now is about how amazing Mike Evans is. The connection between Purdy and Mike Evans has been
so
awesome.
Healthy.
I mean, he is that's really that's the issue to me. I don't think you have two arguments. You have the argument that he's lost it, he's old, and it's just like don't go in on that. That's fine. Maybe that's true. You have the other argument of, well, he's injury prone, and so I don't want going to San Francisco, goodness gracious, an injury prone wide receiver, that's fine. And I do believe there's a chance that this is a pick where if he gets injured, you go, well, shoot, I should have seen this coming. I feel really stupid. But when he's on the field, he's going to score a ton of fantasy points. He's not going to be I don't think he's going to be a wide receiver 3. I think he's going to be a potential wide receiver 1. I think he could be a top 12 wide receiver, and he's going in a place in the draft where it's like you are drafting an old guy changing teams who was injured last year, and you're worried about it. But the scheme that Kyle Shanahan has really leads to a lot of specifics that Mike Evans does. They play with 2 wide receivers on the field often. That sounds some people think that's bad for fantasy. That's great for fantasy for wide receivers. It's consolidation of targets. When Mike Evans has been in 2 wide receiver sets, he has dominated. That is his bread and butter. I just think what Shanahan does, what Brock Purdy does, and what Mike Evans does is a match made in heaven. Is very similar to my argument last year with George Pickens and Dak. What Dak does well is what George Pickens does well. It was, and they needed him. And that's the thing here is like they need Mike Evans. They need a wide receiver 1, and everything about,
Hey.
Yeah, is that Ricky P?
This is Ricky Mouse.
Ricky Mouse.
But you're going Mike Evans?
What's that? Oh, I missed it. What?
Yeah, that's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
I see some.
It was a mouse
shaking.
/ mice reference. Mice Evans for Ricky Mouse.
Oh, my goodness.
I mean, it wasn't really like it was more just I was throwing it right back to you real quick, and you couldn't pick it up.
Oh yeah, there's a reason.
Look,
I don't pick up turds.
Listen, I
don't like that joke.
Thank you,
I'm gonna make I'm gonna say something that you're gonna love. I love Mike Evans.
Okay.
If it was 2023. Because that's when he was my guy, and I loved Mike Evans. Look, you're not going to win any argument opposing you on the basis of what Mike Evans has done. That's not any argument against Mike Evans. He's done everything. He's been amazing. He's been one of the greatest wide receivers we've ever seen. In fact, his career has spanned our career almost perfectly, where he's dominated the entire time that we've been doing the podcast. You have to, like, I noticed that we throw last year out because he was injured.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he did play like, he started the year as a wide receiver, 41, 48, 27. Then he was out, came back 8, 24, 28, and 50. We won't know if the wheels were falling off very much last year, but I tell you what, there's a chance they were. When you're 32 years old, you're going to be 33 this season. Like, I don't like the basis of saying something's just going to go wrong, and that's my entire argument. But it is my argument. I mean, it didn't work with CMC, but it did. It worked with Purdy, and it worked with Pearsall, and it worked with, the other parts of this offense, and it has worked when you look at San Francisco not quite figuring it out with some of these pieces. Like, if Mike Evans has the fountain of youth and at 33 years old is producing at, 28-year-old Mike Evans levels, you're going to be right. His situation is really good. But it's not like we don't like Baker Mayfield. Like, he produced wide receiver 5 numbers with Baker Mayfield in 2023. I don't think it's an upgrade on his situation that much to what he was doing then.
Well, no, but I mean the targets, 57%
His
vacated
targets aren't going to
targets.
change that much.
So this is, I mean, I'm just saying the need for him is like, so if he goes down, you say it's not going to work out, it's going to go wrong, he's going to go down.
I'm saying,
where do they throw the? It's, I mean, then
no,
then you should be drafting.
I didn't say he was going to go down.
Are you drafting Ricky Pearsall like a lot?
No.
Are you high on him?
No.
Come on.
What
baby.
I said was not that he's going down. I said something's going to go wrong.
Well, sure, but we know what that would be.
Well, because it can be Purdy getting hurt. It could be.
Do you think that
it
the
could
49ers
be them not building him into the offense to the way that you like it?
Do you believe the 49ers offense will be a good offense, score
When
a lot of
they're
points?
all healthy.
No. But
Yes.
like on the course of the year, healthy, not healthy. I mean, the 49ers are never healthy. Do you think that this is an offense that will be a top 10 scoring offense?
Probably in that range. Yeah.
So it's got to be someone. So I guess if you are out, if you're listening and you're like, I'm not doing a 33-year-old hamstring, tight hamstring guy. I'm just not doing that. Then I would say draft Ricky P. Because someone here is going to
Except for that argument didn't work last year. Because that argument was completely applicable to Ricky P. He wasn't the beneficiary of it. It became Juwan Jennings in a CMC year, and Kittle was on fire. So, like, other things do happen. Like, other players come in and produce. That's all I'm saying. I have my fears. That's it. 33-year-old changing team guys, the arguments you made for, look, this is Hall of Famer. So maybe he can do what Julio couldn't do, and he can go to San Francisco and dominate. I do think it's in the range of outcomes. But I also think, like you have him ranked in a place where, he's going to start every week for you.
Yes.
And you're going to be counting on it. Would you take Mike Evans or Ibuka?
I would take Ibuka.
I was just curious. I didn't know. Nothing. No agenda there. Just curious where you were at. I guess I have to share mine.
Yes, you do.
His name's Kenneth Gainwell.
Oh.
And not sleeper, because he awoke last year, right? But a value pick on today's show. I have him ranked higher than you guys do. I have him at 32.
We put him back in the ADP deep freeze, though.
Oh, yeah, and that's where guys like this live. That's where they're always going to live. Do you remember how many years Darren Sproles lived in that place?
Oh, man.
And then
that was good
cheat code.
You could never find a clear path for the dude. Like, mentally. You could, they have these other 2 starting running backs. So Darren Sproles, okay, he figured it out. Like, Kenneth Gainwell last year was unbelievable for Pittsburgh. I look at the depth chart here in Tampa Bay. Bucky Irving is a huge wild card, obviously. And I don't know if he was brought up on the wild card show. He probably was. Sean Tucker, whatever. And then Kenneth Gainwell is here to be the beneficiary of an offense that has passed the ball to the running back position very frequently. Rachaad White, the entire case you made for him on Tuesday, you talked about how effective he was with Baker Mayfield for many years. Kenneth Gainwell is just a pro's pro. He led the Steelers with 73 receptions. He's a free player. You talk about J.K. Dobbins in the 9th round. Kenneth Gainwell, you're going to get him there or later. And running backs are hard to come by. So, he wasn't just a check down guy in Pittsburgh. That might be one of the things you're thinking about. He lined up all over the place. And this is a team that lost the aforementioned Mike Evans. They don't know what they have in Bucky Irving, and he's still not healthy. And Bowles back in late March said he's the 1B to Bucky's 1A. So they're already kind of setting the stage for this being a two-headed situation. It hurt players like Jalen Warren last year at times because Kenny Gainwell came in and stole opportunities in the game. And look, do you what's your confidence level in Bucky Irving being a star this year?
Being a star?
I mean, being a what he was as a rookie.
30.
It's low.
33%.
So there's not other names to step up here, and they really need another pass catcher to come and provide something from the backfield. So I think it's a really interesting situation. Hopefully an upgraded offensive coordinator. Grizzard is gone. Zach Robinson has arrived. It's just, to me, very interesting to see the contract numbers that they gave him. Couple years, $14 million. The passing down value, right? A target worth more than the carry, and being a kind of a Swiss Army knife for the offense. So I think it's not a name you're going to enjoy taking. People will roll their eyes and not care when you take him, probably like J.K. Dobbins, but you might just end up putting him in your flex position before you know it. Is kind of my take on Kenny Gainwell.
Nope, I'm in. You want murky situations, and Gainwell. The money is very important to me. That they pursued him and they said,
what did they give him?
It's not. It was like
cash or
credit cards.
Yeah.
It's Amazon gift cards.
Hey, that's
it was 9.8 9.8 guaranteed, worth up to 14.
Okay,
2 years.
Yeah,
2 years. I mean, it's not the most money, but he's got to be thrilled. This was a player that looked like a bit part player that became a featured player. You know, you said a lot about Rachaad White. We saw Rachaad White where we had to begrudgingly accept what he was able to do in this offense catching the football. And he caught like every pass. And then Bucky Irving came and caught every pass. Like, I think maybe Baker is really good at throwing to running backs.
Yeah,
that might be
for
his
sure.
skill.
I will say that it's a very, very good match between the quarterback and running back, and the skills and what they excel at is a great match. It really comes down to Bucky. Because if Bucky gets back to rookie Bucky and he's explosive and he is the star that he was, they'll use him in that way. He will be more of a workhorse. But if he can't get back, and currently he's injured and he is undersized,
or the efficiency is where he was last year.
Right, exactly. Or he doesn't, he's not that same explosive guy, then they will get Gainwell on the field way more than we will want, and he'll score fantasy points. Because when you catch, he had 114 targets last year. Obviously, different team, different situation, but that's not every running back can ever get 100 targets.
You watched, Jay, you said you watched Rodgers. You were watching some Rodgers tape. Do you understand why Kenneth Gainwell got that amount of targets?
Yes, because he can't throw down the field anymore.
And he's coming back.
Rodgers is back.
Who's going to catch the ball out of the backfield?
Jalen Warren?
Yeah.
Mike,
Warren or Rico. I don't know. They both can.
What about your guy?
Oh, with Caleb Johnson.
Club?
No. That's not my guy. Heidenreich's my guy. That's who's gonna emerge.
Oh, yeah.
The Swiss Navy knife.
Swiss Navy knife?
Yeah, not our.
Is that what they call
No,
him?
I think
someone did.
I think
to Navy?
their run. Yeah, he was from Navy.
Oh my gosh, the Swiss.
It's great. It's a great name. I think it was their running backs coach that coined that.
Oh man, it's no Dumpty.
No, well,
but it's pretty good. Next
That's
Tuesday,
Dr. Dumpty.
it's Dumpty MD. Next Tuesday, underrated, overrated. That was a super fun show last year. I'm looking forward to that one, where we go through a handful, maybe up to 10 situations in fantasy, and some stuff like some rules and league settings and stuff. And we marked them. We just vote live on the show. Are they underrated, overrated situations? Do we agree? Do we not? That was a blast last year. We're going to do that on Tuesday, and we'll get into some surprising teams on Thursday's episode and some mailbag as well. Check out the UDKUltimateDraftKit.com. Until next time, boys, for Andy, Mike, Jason, Dr. Dumpty, we say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Fantasy Footballers Podcast. Join our fantasy football community on jointhefoot.com and follow us on Twitter @TheFFBallers.